The Nerd Academy podcast is released weekly at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, available on our website at www.thenerdacademypodcast.com and wherever you listen to podcasts. You can find the Nerd Academy podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. You can also help support the show by going to patreon.com/The Nerd Academy podcast, where every donation allows us to bring you more exciting content every week.
Good morning, class, and welcome back to the number one contender podcast, the show where your favorite nerds sit down and talk all things movie trivia schmodown. I definitely did not forget to add myself back to the stream while the intro was playing. 10 out of 10 didn't do that. But, ladies and germs, we are here for a very special episode. We are here to recap Free4All IV. Incredible night of trivia, an amazing event. So glad to have the Free4All back. And joining me, as always, is Black Leader Travis Grossman.
My finger kept slipping off the tab.
It'd be like that sometimes. Weird connection going on. Don't know why, but the show goes on. No worries about it.
I have no idea what you're talking about. It is only on your end.
That is so weird. That's strange. Either way, we have a fun show for you guys today. We're going to recap some of our favorite moments from Free4All 4. Travis, how did you enjoy the Free4All?
Absolutely abysmal. It's the worst thing I've ever seen. The worst. It was so bad. Bibiani didn't win.
That was great.
It was a what?
What?
You went and then stopped. Like you were about to tell me that everything was on fire.
No, I was just about to say that that was probably the most surprising fact of the evening that Bibbs was not the winner.
Yeah, he made it halfway, so he still did good. I'm also glad that we did not. Granted, it's in a podcast, but we didn't write down any of the predictions we made for the lineups. So, as far as I'm concerned, we got them all right.
Yeah, I agree completely. We got everything completely
There's no
right.
proof that. Yeah, there's no proof that we got it wrong.
I'd say we got a good 50-50. I'd say we got average two or three of.
I mean,
yeah.
If you don't count free agency people, actually, no, there was a free agency person that didn't play because Chance didn't play.
Yeah. Chance was absent. Our strategy of go with who is on the graphic as a given did not pay off either because there was no Laura Kelly, nor was there a Drew McWeeny either, which was
Chandru.
surprising. Or Chandru, yeah. Which was surprising. However, as it turns out, Swag did not need Chandru to play. They were just fine without his involvement. But yeah, I absolutely loved it. The Free4All is one of those events. It's one of the most fun, uniquely schmodown things that happen in the league, and this year was no different. I think it was definitely the most surprising schmodown or Free4All we've ever had, because there was Free4All 3 that had the iconic Bibiani still standing moments. Him, number 1 to number 40, incredible run. We also got to see Bibbs' Nuka table.
Nuka table of himself Dan Murrell, Adam Collins, Ethan Irwin, and there was I forget who else was there.
Merle Collins, Irwin.
Mark Andrago.
Was Griffin Newman? Was he on the table yet?
Griffin Newman came in right after Bibbs swept the table.
Okay.
And then he stayed forever.
Yeah.
Very impressed by him. Very impressed by. I knew they were going to put Jacob London and Kobe Bryant into this free for all. It'd be stupid not to. Those guys were incredible in their match the other day. I guess at this point it was last week. London proving himself a lot.
Yeah. And that was the thing. Like, I didn't know how much time like anybody would have gotten to like make the decisions on who all was going to play. And I mean, that said, like there were a couple people who haven't played yet who were there. Foster from the Exchange. She has not had a match yet. Jen Kemp hasn't played yet this season, and she did incredible too at the end there. So they're the expectation of like it's all people who have at least played once this season proved to be incorrect, and I'm glad it did because I'm still blown away by Blunden. I still can't wrap my brain around it. Like he just the nuke that he brought is incredible. It was like it was probably one moment of the night, as it should have. I understand.
I love that trucks keep driving by my window. It makes me so happy.
It's okay because the fun part is for whatever reason that the connection on my end clearly is shitting itself. You're clearly understandable. It just sounds like you're being like auto-tuned, like T-Pain style. So the trucks are being auto-tuned as well. So that was fun.
Good.
But yeah, that was just such an incredible thing. And like, granted, I understand that like for all intents and purposes, MVP is pretty much always going to be second place. Like,
unless they're both coming in right at the end, right?
Yeah, unless that's the case. But more often than not, I feel like there's a high level of play that means that the final two players have probably been there a little bit longer than, around. So no disrespect to Ben Bateman. No, like, oh, it should have gone to this. It should have gone to that. There is a part of me that does truly think that an argument can be made that Jacob London is the MVP. I feel like a table nuke that takes out William Bibiani completely changes the nature of the free-for-all for all parties involved. And I think there's a lot of strategy and calculation that all the other players have to do. Now that Bibiani is gone, they're like, okay, well, this just became anybody's game in a really real way. And I respect the decision. I think Bateman was the last player in the 20s.
No, he was 24. Oh yeah. Oh, you mean at the end? Yes, because he came in at right after, Blunden finished off the table. That's the lineup he came in with. So, I mean, still to come in then and survive the entire, because that was a little less than halfway through in terms of time of the match. Bateman got over 50 points the entire time. He was scoring at least 3 every round, usually 4 or 5.
Yeah.
And I also think though that it's better that he didn't win from like a statistic standpoint, because that means he got points for the dungeon, but he doesn't need the title shot right now. Because Merle has the belt. Not that Merle Bateman 3 wouldn't be a huge match, but they're on the same faction. So
yeah, plus the newer rules, I don't even know if they could do that. I don't know. I feel like having that shot for Danger Zone wouldn't be a bad idea.
that's true.
Because like anything could happen. Like they got to get through Marcel McKee and Adam Collins, and then Roca and JT. Like those are two, and granted, like those are matchups that I think Bateman and Merle
No.
are they on the same side of the bracket? For
No.
teams? They're not.
Rushmore and I don't remember the name of the team, but Corruption's other team are on
Deception.
the same side. Thank you. They're on the same side of the bracket, and then on the other side is Danger Zone.
Okay. Uh, still, they got to get through either one of those teams at the end, and that's I don't doubt the abilities of Danger Zone or Rushmore for that matter. But it's still, it's not a surefire shot, but it's them. I'm sure they'll be fine. Like you said, there's 50 points on the board from Bateman. You can't deny that. You can't stick up your nose at it. Like that is MVP play. And that's one thing that like I kind of miss with the old rules, like pre this being an actual sport with rules and regulations. I miss the ability to just kind of like give a lot of people different titles coming out of the free for all. And I don't know. There's a part of me that wishes there were like a couple MVP slots that got like descending point values attributed to their factions. Just because I feel like there's a level of play that's on display in the free for all that like you can really put in work and there be no reward at all. You know what I mean? So there's a part of me that feels like it wouldn't be a bad idea to like throw out a couple points here and there to some of the factions that had high performing players. Granted, most of that would end up being concentrated into swag, corruption, in the dungeon. Like it would be those three that would really get most of the love there. But regardless,
Yeah, I feel like if you go too far with that, it gets kind of silly. And there's a reward in the sense that, like, granted, London already proved himself, right? Like in his match with Jacoby, but he's proved himself again. Like it wasn't a flash in the pan. I mean, Jacoby did too. Jacoby was pulling perfect rounds. And movie release dates just seemed to be the category. If you were going to knock out more than one person, that's how you were going to do it. And that's how London did it. But, like, it proves that, in their match, London just forgot to use the JTE rule. That was the only hiccup he really made, And
yeah,
those two are both just, they're going places, man. They're going to do some crazy shit in this league. And I think people know that now. So, like, come draft time, their names are going to be way higher on the list. People know that, like, if these guys are up for draft, I should be looking at them, finding good singles players. So Yeah, I think. I mean, like, I think they're fine. I could see Jacob or Jacoby having a title shot by the end of the season. Honestly,
I wouldn't be surprised. I think they're going to do well in the tournament. When it comes time for a singles tournament, I'll be stunned if neither of them are seeded. I also say, and this is something that we normally save for like our Saturday episode that has like a mix of news and matches. It sounds like our theory about us getting 2 tournaments in a few different divisions is true, according to what Ben Bateman said on Backstage this week. So, like,
well, it makes
there's a
sense.
lot of room for a lot of players.
Yeah, again, we'll talk more about this on Saturday, but the finals of the first team championship is only a 3-round match. Or
What was that?
The team's tournament that's happening next month.
Yeah.
The finals of that is only a 3-round match, and it's worth 4 points. Like, it's not an actual. It's not a like tournament. Like final match. So.
Well, that's going to be interesting then. Yeah, and we're going to talk all about that, like we said, on Saturday. We do have a full, list of matches, upcoming stuff like that will all be discussed then. But this is all free-for-all talk and the aftermath therein. What do you think our actual winner, who we've not discussed yet, Primetime, Paul Oyama, what do you think he's going to do with his title shot?
I think he is for sure like. I think he won the singles belt this year, right?
Yeah.
And he has a number 1 contender shot lined up, right? Like, because they mentioned that he has a.
I think so.
Ethan Irwin, if I remember correctly. So I think he's going to play that match. See where that ends up. If he wins that, he goes to play Merle. He won't need the title shot right away for that. If he wins the singles belt, I think then he throws down the title shot for final exam and says, we just, I have the singles belt now. I want that doubles belt.
Yeah, I was listening to the rundown, their free-for-all recap, and they made a really interesting point that I want to hear your opinions on. That because Lon Harris has like they described his performance as of late as streaky, that he'll have like a run of like Lon's killing it, Lon's killing it, Lon's killing it, Lon's killing it. What the fuck is Lon doing? Lon's killing it, Lon's killing it. And we kind of saw that recently where like he was doing fine and then they got their back blown out by Shazam. Lon just wasn't there for that match. He was caught lacking. And it was like, oh man, Lon Harris, this happened there. A couple weeks later, he turns around and, takes out Drew McWeeny. So I see what they mean with the whole streaky thing. And I don't know. I think there's a conversation that can be had about wanting to have all of the control of what happens with that shot. Because once you take it, it's gone.
Yeah.
And that's
what I said.
Be risky. But
I think that's why he isn't using it right away. Because if he loses to Ethan Irwin, he has that in his back pocket. He can let Irwin and Merle. Again, I'm assuming it's Ethan Irwin because I don't remember what they said, so I'm just taking a guess.
I think you're right.
So once they have another match, you know, the upteenth time that Ethan Irwin has played Dan Merle for the belt, he can come in and go, okay, well that's over. I'm gonna take my shot again now.
Yeah.
If he loses Contender shot, and I think that Lon will like be on his A game if they're playing for the belt because they haven't played for the belt yet.
This is true. This is true.
The closest they've had is number 1 contender matches. They've had a couple of those. Show's over. They've had a couple of those, but you know, it was against Shazam this most recent time. I don't remember the team's tournament last year, so I don't remember how far they got.
That was around the time you and I both kind of fell off for the season and missed a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So I also don't like have a whole lot to go off of for how the tournament went last season, but I mean, they did well. I didn't remember that much. I remember them having a good run, and there's a reason why they're touted. But I'm very interested to see what Paulo Yama does. You know, I think that
because he's on a roll, dude.
Yeah,
like he wants it. Winston wants it. They want it. I think this is like prime time, but like also he is like at his prime, Paulo Yama.
I think you're right. I think this might be Paulo Yama at the strongest we've seen him before. And, you know, he's just so much fun to watch play now. You know, like his rookie season, he was just kind of insufferable. Like, not as just the character of prime time. Obviously, he seems like a good dude, but like, it's just like I like who he is and who he plays a lot more. On top of the fact that he's in, you know, the knowledge base is there. We wouldn't be having this conversation if it wasn't. So yeah, I'm very, very intrigued in what comes next for him. Do you think he could do it? Beat Merle, take the belt?
I mean, he's done it before. He beat Merle for his belt. He beat Merle and then defended it against. He defended it against Snyder.
That's right. That's right. You're right. You're right. I'm crossing the streams. For some reason, I was thinking he beat Snyder and then lost it to Merle in that defense. No. I'm backwards. Okay, that makes way more sense.
He beat Merle, defended against Snyder, and lost to Ben Bateman. But yeah, I mean, he's as poised as anyone, right? Like, I love that Merle keeps winning and defending his belt on like a lucky question in round 5 every time. He's like, I didn't know this question. Or they go to sudden death and he's like, hey, yeah, at this point, if I miss, I miss. Like, what am I going to do, you know?
Yeah.
And he just gets lucky. And it's hysterical every time. But I think that's kind of the thing, too, is Oyama came in with this knowledge base, but it looked like it was this. He was riding high the whole time, and when he lost, he lost. Ben Bateman knocked him out. And it took him a while to come back from that, but he's proving now that wasn't a hot streak, and that he really is that good. It's just that he doesn't want to character act while he plays anymore. So
yeah, which is fair. No, I agree with you, and this is just such an interesting free for all. Like I remember, like my family, like I wouldn't shut up about how excited I was to watch it with you. And like, my family, like even some patrons at the bar were like, hey, like, how'd your thing go? And I was like, I was completely wrong about everything that happened. And I could not have had more fun watching it. I'm trying to think if like I want to know how to phrase this because I've said this before. I try to keep things on the positive side when we talk about players and how they perform.
Yes, I do think the Flirtin Flaus was cheated out of his very obvious win. All of his answers were correct. We don't need to beat around the bush here.
Okay, I do want to talk about the Flirtin Flaus real quick, though. I'm glad you reminded me of that. What kind of like dark parking garage ass kicking do you think Brett Sheridan gets from Alex Damon the next time they're in the same room? Because the Flirtin Flaus like accidentally like bumble butted himself into taking Alex Damon out.
That's so funny, man. Because you and I were both like, okay, Damon's having, like, granted, Damon's a Star Wars and Energeekdom player. So, like, usually people that only play those two divisions don't do great at the free-for-all. But, like, he can hang, and it was clearly like, oh, Damon's having a bad round. He gets this free one with the Flirtin Flaus. Whatever, it's fine. What?
And then Flaus ties it with the last two questions, and it's just like, oh no. I felt so bad for Alex.
Just gonna add to his promo when he plays in the first week of May. He's playing the first week of May, right?
Yes. Which I cannot wait for. I cannot wait for. Yeah, oh, the poor guy. He really gave it a good run too. And like like you said, people who play in, Star Wars and IG, granted, I think there is a bigger knowledge base that comes with IG now that might help newer Energeekdom players make the jump to playing in singles as well. However, like hell, look at Kevin Smets. He did not have an amazing performance in Free4All 3. He didn't
have an amazing performance in Free4All 3. He kind of like bumbled his way through the Champions exhibition last season. He won, but like they mixed in enough Energeekdom and Star Wars that he could hang.
Yeah. Which is there's an interesting power dynamic right there on its own with those championship like exhibitions where you have a fatal 4-way, and it's like, oh no, I don't have like the general movie knowledge that these guys do, but they don't have the knowledge of the dork shit and Star Wars type stuff. So there comes this weird thing where like which one has a more critical knowledge gap. Which is an interesting dynamic. Also, I really wish we were right about how they do the questions. And like aside from us just wanting to be right, I think this event is better off and is more interesting when you make those the stakes. That like out of nowhere you can get like a Star Wars 5-pointer as a question.
I think the other thing with that too is we were wrong about how many Energeekdom Star Wars players would be playing. Because again, we saw Chandru and Laura Kelly, Amara Moses on the graphic, and like, oh, they're like putting in like every division of player. We're gonna get a good spread of like there's gonna be some Star Wars, there's gonna be some Energeekdom, and we saw with that. I used that champion expedition from last season as my like template of they had this knowing that Damon and Smets would not be able to hang with Roka and Merle, right? In like a general question pool. So they spiced it up to make it an even playing field. And based on what we thought was going to happen, because like Demolanta didn't play, right? Demolanta didn't go for the Mercs. So we were like, oh, well, they're going to have all these people show up, not be able to, like, be dumb of them to have, like, Demolanta, Moses, Laura Kelly, all these people show up and then have them get knocked out immediately because they don't singles.
Yeah.
So spice it up, throw in some Star Wars, throw in some Inner Geekdom that these people will know. And I mean, like, I guessed my way around singles questions and get them right all the time. Like, I've never seen a Hannibal Lecter movie. I knew that Anthony Hopkins, right? Get the actor right? He's played him 3 times. I knew that shit. Oscar winner Anthony Hopkins. Like, I just went, it's probably like 3 times. And you were like, yeah, 3 times. And it was 3. You can guess your way around questions like that. So.
Yeah. Speaking of like questions and answers and like knowing and guessing, I think one of my new favorite watching the Schmodown with you moments, I think second only to Hot Patoctopussy, which I'm not going to give anybody any context.
They don't get to know what that means. They don't get to know.
You don't get to know what Hot Patoctopussy means. Is the final question. It's like in Snowpiercer, what animal do we see as they get off the train? And like both of them are like in deep thought. I looked at you, I'm like, it's a polar bear.
Well, we had the same moment that they had collectively, right? It's like they asked the question. I've never seen Snowpiercer, but I was like, oh, snow. What animal? Clearly it's a wolf. And I was like, it's a wolf, right? No, it's a polar bear. Really? Yeah. He turns to them. Ben Bateman, wolf. Incorrect. Polo Yama. Polar bear.
Yeah, he said polar bear, and it felt like time slowed down on our end because we both went, oh. It was I was such an amazing moment. Again, I want to see corruption win as much as they can. Goddamn, watching Winston Marshall after one of his players wins is a treat. That man is adorable. That man is precious.
Especially
protect
off
him
of
in all
the story of that question, right?
Yeah.
That was their vetting question. Is so funny.
It was the same thing. Like, what was it? I think it was when KO won his IG belt back from Rachel Cushing. How like that Star Trek scores and soundtracks question he got.
I don't remember.
He was talking about like that, like he literally was going through his flashcards and had that exact question was the last thing he read while doing his like backstage warm-ups.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the question that won him back his belt. And it was that same thing where it's like sometimes there's a poetic nature to the questions that you study with, that they come back and they get to be the ones that you win it all with. And it was just incredible. And Paul absolutely earned it. Are there any other performances you want to highlight before we wrap up here? Because I think we had a good conversation about the free-for-all.
Yeah. Griffin Newman showed up for sure.
Incredible job. Also, good job to Frank Alvarez, who will be getting interviewed on Number One Contender very soon. Expect that episode, I'm going to say Monday. Drop a bonus again.
Again, like I think Blunden and Bancroft could have a really fun rivalry going where like Bancroft beat him in the match, but Blunden outshined him in the free for all, and like they're both so good that I want to see these guys play more. Like they're seeing these new, Collins did it for me last season. Seeing these rookies come out and like really shine in singles is making me excited for singles because I usually am not.
I will say this much, and it might be early to say this because this is only the second year we've had like the whole rookie seasons, right? Like we've had people who are new to the sport, but this is the first time there's like an entire rookie class.
Well, yeah, because like
before,
like it could be halfway through the season and it wouldn't matter, and they'd be like, "Oh, now this person's playing," right?
Yeah, I think that even though we're only 2 years into this format, when we look, give it maybe 3 or 4 more years, 3 or 4 more seasons, when we look back on season 8 on WAR, we're going to talk about this rookie class as one of, if not the best rookie classes. Like, I know it's early to say that. Like, I'm aware, but there's just so much star power here. And so many heavy hitters, like Blunden, like Bancroft, Amaru Moses, all the Star Wars players coming in, Griffey Newman, Gold Leader, Ty Lieberman. Like, there's a lot of really strong rookies. And this might be one of those, like, we're going to opine about that time where the Finstock exchange was on fire with all these rookies. And I'm sure next year Gucci's strategy will be completely different. And he drafts nothing but big name singles players instead of rookies. And then that'll crash and burn again.
The entire Star Wars division. This lineup is Alex Damon, Andrew DeMolanta, Laura Kelly, Joseph Scrimshaw, Gold Leader, Bree Wilson. Those are his first 6.
He's just going to be like, me, single-handedly coached the Star Wars champion to a championship belt or to a defense. Those clips will just be interchangeable. But yeah, this is an incredible night. As you were saying, as I cut you off to talk about the rookies.
They're really good, and they make me excited. It's 10 in the morning. They make me very excited to watch / listen to singles. Although I am very happy that we have an Inner Geekdom heavy week this week.
Me too. I missed it.
Hannah V. Parker comes out today. We don't have an undercard yet for Kalinowski v. Damon. Because now that's the main event. So.
And due to some scheduling things, Travis and I will actually be able to watch the Kalinowski v. Damon match together that night. And we'll be doing how we used to do Number One Contender, where we record it very late on a Friday with this brand spanking new couch. So we'll be very comfy while we watch it too. Look on the Nerd Academy Twitter if you don't know what I'm talking about. But yeah, no, piggybacking off of what you were saying, like, again, I don't think we can stress enough how incredible Blunden was in this. Bateman did phenomenally. Jen Kemp, the meme queen, great job. She was talking about how on the Rundown after show, She hasn't had a great career thus far, and she's been a part of the Schmoes Know. Pardon me, the Schmoes Know family for as long as it's been a thing. So getting to see her do work during the free for all was really good. I think that she's also made a name for herself as somebody who should have their eyes kept on them. And another thing, moving forward with the free for all, I think this is going to be a really interesting proving ground moving forward. I think that rookies who have a chance taken on them to compete, I think their whole prospect and future gets changed by a good free-for-all performance moving forward. Like, again, Foster from the exchange. Nobody knew about her yet. She hasn't played yet.
Yeah.
Now, when her name comes up, like in people's YouTube notifications, that it's her match that week, people are going to go crazy. People are going to go ape shit for it. She did great.
I actually forgot about her. Yeah, she's another one that like really showed up and competed, right? I think that was always the case. Just now that we have rookies, right?
Yeah,
like, it was already a moving ground, but like it's also like the other thing too is it's Bibiani's like warm up for the season. Like he'll have a match or two before that, and he'll do good because it's Bibiani. But then he gets to the free for all, and he's like, okay, I'm playing again now. Okay.
There's that, and like, how do I describe it? I feel like this is going to be like a weird comparison, but follow me. I feel like Free for All's past was kind of like the Schmodown Super Smash Brothers. Like the novelty of it and the prospect of like, everyone is here. Like this champ is here. This person's here. This person's here. Holy shit. We haven't seen this person in forever. Oh my God. This person's out of retirement. Like there is that novelty of like the surprises and everything that can happen along the way. And people came for the vets, the proven commodities, because it's the only time you get to have this batshit crazy trivia battle royale. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, on top of that still being the case, there is the opportunity for this rookie proving ground where you can have somebody, like a Foster who you don't have who has not been seen yet coming out the gate and going, oh, by the way, I'm competitive in the free for all. Look who I was able to go up against. Look who I serve. Look who I outlived. And the same goes for, again, I think Blendon and Bancroft. They did not, like, they had one match, right? Like, that's it. That's all you had was one match. And even though it was a phenomenal performance and they both did great, that's still only one match to go off of for like what your upper limits are, right? Then you show up here and do what you did. Like now, like you said, if Shannon doesn't tie down Blendon, he's going quick.
Mm-hmm.
Like if she can't get her hands on him pronto, he's on somebody else's team. Big ass fucking hair in my mouth. Ew. So I really, really do look forward to seeing how this affects the league moving forward with how the free for all is treated from now on. And like you said, I think now that Bibiani's like primed and ready, he's going to be even more fun to watch.
Man. We're going for that title next month now. It was going to be in 2 days, but next month.
Yeah, and like I said, we will be talking about the kerfuffle that happened this week and the future schedule as well on the actual Saturday show. But yeah, congratulations to Paul Oyama. Congratulations to Ben the Boss Bateman. Congratulations to everybody who played. It was phenomenal work. Welcome back to kind of like some semblance of normalcy, even though it was a digital free-for-all. It felt so good to see it happen. Congrats to everybody on the Schmodown team. It was an incredible watch. With that, Travis, where can the lovely people find you, my friend?
This is going out today, right?
Yes.
Okay. They can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Travis Political. They can find me later tonight on Twitch at BlackLeader439 around 8-ish, streaming the end of Assassin's Creed 2.
Yes, please do that.
Out.
I am.
And then figuring out what we're going to play next, because I have no idea.
Yeah, and catch me being upset that I won't be able to watch him beat Assassin's Creed 2 in real time, because we'll probably be recording Knights of the Nerd Republic at that time.
I will probably still be going when you guys are done. I have a lot of the game left.
Well, that's good to know. You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at DarkJedi2552. And you can find the Nerd Academy podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and on our website, www.thenerdacademypodcast.com, where if you're feeling generous, you can donate to our Patreon page. Speaking of our patrons, thank you to our $10 alumnus, Case and Brion, the Waffle Wizard, Delta 9, and Zach Announce. You guys help us make the content that we love to produce. Be sure to consider the $5 tier of our Patreon, where you get exclusive access to our Patreon shows, the Knights of the Nerd Republic Versus Series, Heroic History 101, and the audio commentary tie-ins for Nerd Academy Movie Club. Also, be sure to click on the student store link on our website, where you can get all manner of Nerd Academy merch and goodies. All that stuff helps support the show. Also, like, comment, subscribe. I punched my microphone. Like, comment, subscribe. Do the things. Get this video to a Schmodown fan of your choosing. With that, thank you all so very much for listening. And smash